Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healing Through Sharing. I'm Rosanna, and my guest this evening or this afternoon, as you can see, Talika's outside enjoying the nice weather, is Talika. And I met Talika, you and I met Talika when I first started Toastmasters. And I remember you were the first person that I saw when I walked into the room. And you had this huge smile on your face. No wonder that you had that smile on your face because you were the vice president of membership. So you wanted me to to become a member. But not only that, your smile is genuine, and that's what I remember from you from attending each and every Toastmasters meeting. So Talika did serve as VP of membership. She also served as area director for about a year and is now still an active member of the Brampton Alpha Toastmasters. She's a mother of three boys, aged 26, 16, and 14, and she is very active in the school community. So for the past 2 years, she has been the Parent Council Committee Chair at Fletcher's Meadow Secondary School. She has recently been appointed as co-chair on the Parent Involvement Committee, which is a parent advisory body for the Peel District School Board. And in addition to that, Talika is an advocate for autism and is very involved in community advocacy. Talika focuses on work, advocating for families in the school system, and educating and providing resources for families with special needs children. And I have to mention also that she's a board of directors member for Partners for Planning. And so, Talika, my goodness, you are busy. You have your hands and plate full.
You're absolutely right. It's a part of my life. It's my lifestyle as well as I believe it's my responsibility. I don't know why I feel as if I need to reach as many people as possible. Um, so I am quite active, especially with the school system, because the children are our future. My children, anyways, are my future, and so I know the importance. And I like to get into spaces that sometimes
I remember.
may
Yes.
not see parents, but I like to be very active and get into spaces so that our voices can be heard.
Mhm.
It's something. It's my passion.
And so, how did it start? How did it all begin for you?
You know, uh, Everything for me, honestly, with my advocacy and what I'm doing right now and my involvement in all these committees and what I'm working on, it started for me with Toastmasters. I honestly, it's not a promo for Toastmasters, but I will say that that was a space that gave me the confidence that I needed to raise my hand.
Mhm.
And it started for me as, just randomly being at a parent teachers meeting, and they were looking for a chair, and for the first time, I decided I was ready, for public speaking, and I was confident, and I said, I can do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, and you
And
can.
so doing that and being a chair, you get information. You get a lot of information. You know what they need to do, what they need to happen, and you just automatically become the voice of the parents and the community. And so
Mhm.
that's how I started with the community. So as you can see, one thing led to another.
Yeah.
Um, Partners for Planning is an organization. It's Canada wide. It's worldwide.
Wow.
You could grab information. It's on the web
Mhm.
as well, but you can grab information that could serve families anywhere in the world. The tools that you may need. It essentially is an organization that support families that have children with special needs, exceptional needs,
Mhm.
um, to plan their future. We want to ensure that we provide parents at an early age and provide them with the tools to ensure that their children have a secure future. So
Mhm.
there is resources from birth right through just living as an adult, with
Mhm.
this special needs. So it's an awesome organization, and I'm very happy to be a part of one of the board of directors.
Yeah, that's excellent because a lot of people out there, there's so many resources, but when you're in that situation, you might not know where to turn to or who to call or where to look. So that's really important that you spread the word, and we will have the links to all the boards
Thank you.
and organizations at the bottom of this video. But it's so important to, yeah, just tell people like, that they're not alone and that there are resources to help them. And there are places that they can seek out.
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly how I found them. Late at night, as parents, when children are sleeping, our minds are, I should point out that I do have a son who is autistic,
Hmm.
also does have cerebral palsy. So, I've been dealing with this, and this is my 14-year-old. So I've been
Wow.
doing this and advocating for my own child because he's nonverbal
Hmm.
since birth, you should say. So I've been doing this for a while. So even when you think you know something, then another change comes about or something comes up, and you're like, where do I go? Who do I turn to? What
Right.
do I do? So it was late at night, and I'm Googling, and that's how I found Parent for Partners. And it was like, it
Hmm.
was like I opened a box and suddenly everything is just there. So,
Right.
it's been great for me, and I want parents to know about the organization.
Hmm.
Even, as part of the parent involvement committee, chairing the committee, I'm finding ways how I can educate and provide resources for children for families that are going through similar, um, I don't want to say
Challenges maybe, or yeah,
challenges, I would say.
yeah.
Um, I want them to know earlier, a
Hmm.
lot sooner than I did,
Right.
because I had to find out everything for myself. And then now I feel it's my responsibility, I think, to share this
Yeah.
information.
That's
So I'm
wonderful.
always advocating. I'm always, if I'm out there, I'm having these discussions, and I find spaces
Hmm.
that I could go to and have these conversations. I
Yeah.
literally seek them out, and
Hmm.
I don't know, I just I feel responsible.
Yeah. But to the point where, you're not taking, it's not overloading you, but you feel like you want to share this knowledge with everybody because it's helped you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, you know, I don't know. I just feel that this is my God's given gift.
Your purpose. This is your
My purpose,
purpose. Yeah.
exactly. So, I always, a few years ago, I was speaking with um, a life coach.
Hmm.
You know him, Mr. Samora.
Oh, yes.
Samora.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of course.
Samora, who is a
Yeah.
part of the, and Samora, and saying to me, because we were having kind of an off the record session, and I was at a point in my life where, I felt like, what's next? It was a combination of being overwhelmed and,
Hmm.
I just didn't know I didn't even know how to describe how I felt.
Hmm.
And he just asked me one question. He says, what do you want your legacy to be?
Yeah. What a powerful question, isn't
I,
it?
I sat down for the longest time, and every day I think about it. It's so funny that was years ago,
Hmm.
but whenever I feel I'm in that space, where I'm feeling lost sometimes,
Hmm.
I think about that question. What do you want your legacy to be? Because it's not just talking about, it's asking me what is my purpose? What am I doing now?
Yes.
Is it beneficial? Is
Right.
it going to be a part of my legacy? If it's not, I drop it. And there goes the worry. It helps me
Exactly. Yeah.
all the time to sort out, what is important and really what isn't,
Hmm.
you know? So I tend to, and so my legacy, I believe, is my
Hmm.
purpose. And I am you know, as I mentioned earlier, I'm expecting grandchildren,
Yes,
you know.
congratulations.
So my legacy, you know, it's already started to
Yeah.
to my family's growing,
Hmm.
so evolving, you know.
Yeah.
So my legacy should be something that I'm proud of, something that I have left a mark. And I feel that what I'm doing right now is because I'm passionate about it. It's
Yes.
never a burden to me. It's never more than I can
It's
do.
not work, right?
It's not work. It's
Yeah.
my lifestyle. As I said in the beginning, this
Yes.
is my life.
Hmm.
And yeah, so never a burden.
I love that because, we're faced with so many choices during, in our lifetime, during the day, during the weeks. And, we always maybe tend to go away from our life purpose, from, we get stuck, or we feel maybe discouraged at times. But when you come back to that fundamental thing, your legacy, then it draws you back in, and it's almost like it's your compass, and
It
you're
is.
following your compass all the time. And I remember, just after COVID, I mean, it hit a lot of people hard. And I remember it hitting you hard as well.
Hmm.
Because I was attending Toastmasters at that time. And I
Hmm.
remember how, you said it was affecting you, because you weren't getting out. Nobody was getting out. There wasn't that interaction. And then something happened as time went on. I saw a turnaround in you. And, you know, I don't know, can you speak a little bit about that?
Um, yes, actually. So I'm, as you can tell, I am so used to being amongst people.
Yes.
I get a lot of my energy comes from people.
Hmm.
And being locked away for COVID, a person like myself that's so used to being amongst people,
Hmm.
and you know, I was zoomed out because
Yeah.
you know, I'm a part of all these committees
Yeah.
and memberships for different organizations,
Yeah. And
and I
here we are
was,
on Zoom.
and here we are on Zoom,
It works,
but
right?
exactly, this is for a purpose.
Yes, yes,
If we could do a live show every day, we would. So they
exactly.
would
Yeah.
see me live and yourself on your show. Um, so my turnaround, I believe, it didn't even come when we were able to go outside. I think it was my mindset. I
Yeah.
had to recenter myself because, you know, I kept telling myself I'm so exhausted and
Hmm.
I don't have people around to pull that natural energy that I get.
Hmm.
And so I just decided to start once again focusing on not just everything, because I was literally in meetings every day, all day, outside of work. As soon as work is done,
Right.
right through the night, sometimes I'm in meetings until 9:30. So once
Wow.
again, I had to refocus. I had to think,
Hmm.
what what is how is this contributing to my purpose,
Right.
to what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
what I did is I really just focused on the things that mattered in terms of that I'm enjoying, so that it's no longer just a meeting.
Right.
It's a meeting, but it's a meeting with like-minded people. It's a meeting on topics that I absolutely enjoy,
Hmm.
or an organization that, you know, I feel that I have purpose.
Yes.
You know, and so I think that's what did it for me. I recentered myself
Hmm.
and my mind and how I'm thinking, you know, because you can I remember with COVID, you could easily stretch yourself thin because
Yes.
it's so easy to pop online, versus in
Exactly.
person you could probably maybe do 2 meetings a day in you know, on
That's
Zoom
right.
or Teams. You could do this all day,
Yeah.
meetings after meeting. You could be present as
Yeah.
long as you have
Yeah.
the time. So that's it. I literally refocused and I started serving in a different, providing service in a different way. So it's no longer, it was no longer just attending a meeting for the purpose of a meeting. I attended meetings that I'm actually serving a purpose,
I love
and
that.
providing. Yes.
Yes. So it's
Yes.
it's a mindset change. And like you
It
said,
is.
you weren't looking at the meeting as a chore anymore. You were looking at it as a way to fulfill your purpose.
Exactly. It
And
always comes back to that for me,
yes, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, and COVID was unexpected. It
yeah.
was it was almost traumatizing because you know me, I'm a hand holder, how are you, in
Yes,
your face
yes.
type of person. And then bam, I'm trying to figure out how to use the camera on my my devices.
I know, and I think I'm still technologically challenged sometimes. I don't know, I need so much help.
Oh
But
goodness.
I love the way, you're focusing and you're putting your attention on the things that really feed your soul and the things that are really important
Yes.
to you.
I like that. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And it truly has the ability to change. I mean, your whole, you know, your whole
Way of,
thought process, and that affected me mentally and emotionally. And once you've as you said, started doing things that feeds your soul,
hmm
it it it's a different feeling,
yes.
right?
So not only like are you feeding your soul, but you're providing valuable information and resources and help to so many other people who are in the same um, boat or situation as you are. And that is that in itself is so valuable. um, and so feeding your own soul, helping others, and I bet you could tell the difference with your relationships as well, because when
Yes.
you're in a state of um, emotional well-being, I would just say, then it emanates into your relationships, so your relationships
Yes,
become better.
absolutely. And as a parent, it's very important, that you always check yourself. This is why it's very important to make sure you check your mental health and
Hmm.
your well-being before
Yes.
you do others. Because as a parent, my children, I have all boys, but surprisingly, they soak up every emotion that I have. You
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
my 16-year-old is very, very close to me, and I have to be very mindful.
Hmm.
And my 14-year-old with autism, he speaks through emotions.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, that's how he communicates.
Right.
So I can tell because he's not a big hugger, but
Hmm.
whenever I find him hugging on my arms and doing this with my face,
Oh.
I know that he's sensing. So I try my very best to, you know, even meditate or do some
Hmm.
of the things that I do to really help my soul, and
Yeah.
and myself to feel healthy.
Yes.
And so I can tell it's very, very important as a mother with, yeah.
Absolutely. And I always use the analogy of, when you go flying, and the flight attendant, does their little spiel on the safety features, and they always
Yes,
say, put your mask on first and then help
absolutely.
others, and I just love that because it really speaks to, yes, we need to take care of ourselves first so that we can be there for others and at our optimal emotional and physical health.
Oh, absolutely. I have realized that. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Last night, I was laying down and I was thinking to myself, I felt, and I often do this because when the kids are down is when I think and I
That's great.
reflect. I
Yeah.
reflect. I
Yeah.
reflect a lot.
Uh-huh.
I have a little journal. I write about my day, what went well.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, so
Yes.
every day I'm very reflective.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I felt, I said to myself, at my age, I mean my early 40s, I felt honestly right now, and I think because I'm thinking, how do I feel? And I always ask myself, how do I feel right now? Last night, something like a little voice said to me, I feel like for the last 20 years, I was asleep and suddenly I'm awake. I don't know this feeling. And I think this is something that comes with age. I don't think I would have figured or felt this way
Mhm.
5, 6 years ago. But
Mhm.
that's how I'm feeling right now. I don't know why that came up in this conversation. It just came to my mind again. It's just like, even this conversation, I'm feeling so alive. And
Yes.
I just love it. But I never thought about this years ago.
Mhm.
And I think even that in itself, I tell young people all the time, you need to start living.
Yes.
It's very important. I bring this up right in this moment because I don't think a lot of people realize COVID also had that positive effect. You realize that you
Absolutely.
didn't have much of a life. You were just going with emotions. You were
Yeah.
just waking up, working, going to sleep, family
Yeah.
time here and there. But COVID gave us a lot of time, sorry, inside the home
Mhm.
to focus. I just wanted to mention that
Absolutely.
as well with me with COVID. It
Yeah.
gave you time to realize that, you know what? You were really not living. I mean, you have all this time right now and you feel so out of place when
Right.
you should be using it. And this should be normal that you have
Yes.
all this time that
Yeah.
you spend on yourself, on your family, but you really didn't. So I feel so alive right now
Mhm.
at this age, and
Yeah.
you would think that this, when we were younger is when we should have all this energy, but
Right.
now
But
it's
it's a
almost like I just woke up.
yeah, it's a different kind of energy. And you're right. I mean, I think, for all the negatives that COVID has brought, I think it
Yes,
also brought some positives. And you're
absolutely.
right. The time to really reflect and think about what's really important in our life. And
Hmm.
I think, like you, I guess I started feeling this way the last 10 years, and I'm a lot older than you are, but
It's
I
about time.
I
It's about
truly
time. I'm
it is.
feeling that
Yeah.
way.
And and it's almost a like you said, like an awakening, a sense of being alive and being or understanding what's really, really important. And you know, hindsight, regrets, I don't really talk about that. But in terms of the way I feel now and the way you feel, you just described the way you feel. I think that if we could bottle it up and teach the young kids or the
Absolutely.
younger generation, and
Hmm.
I think a lot of them are starting to get it as well, but um, it's something that almost should be taught. The self acceptance, self love, resiliency, emotional
Yes,
intelligence. These are all things that really should be taught, from kindergarten all the
I
way through.
agree.
And because
I
it's
agree.
not it's not just something that you learn and then, you just kind of forget. It's something that you learn progressively and it's with you your
It's
whole
a
life.
wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
If we could just, I always say, if I had someone that had certain conversations with me,
Hmm.
like mentoring sessions, I think we
Yes.
should.
I
I
think
think,
coaching
yeah,
should be part of the school
I
curriculum
think it really
almost.
should. I think it really
Yeah.
should. I think what I realized too, what really um was a part of me feeling this way was the attitude that I developed. And
Hmm.
I know you've heard this term before, but I really developed an attitude of gratitude.
Yes. Yeah.
You when you're grateful,
Hmm.
then you have nothing to complain about. When you have
Exactly.
nothing to
Yeah.
complain about, then where would my stress come from? You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
or if you're not complaining, um, then mentally you're well. I
Yes.
feel that.
Yeah.
And then also it your everything that comes out of your mouth, or as much as possible, is positive. So
Right.
it has this effect on your entire anybody that's in your circle. And so, and any kid also, help improve others. So it's
Mhm.
just a
Yeah.
big bubble,
Yes.
and I don't
Because,
know how to explain it.
yeah, because
Being,
no,
mhm.
you're right, because it takes the same amount of energy to think negative and to think positive. So why not think positive?
Yes,
And thinking positive, I always say, because a lot of people say, "Oh, you're too positive," or you always think positive. But, you know, positive isn't going to make the problems go away. It's going to make you handle them better and get through the adversity and hardships and whatever is being thrown at you. um and it's not like, oh, hey, I got fired, great. It's not that. It's not like that. It's okay, I got fired. What, things happen. What can I learn from it, and how can I move on? Because you know what, with every door that closes, another one opens, as we all know. And I think we know this as we age, yes, because we go through all these experiences, and we know that nothing is permanent. Nothing, it's not the end of the world. Things happen all the time, but
yes,
we have to learn to bounce back. And that's the important thing, is bouncing back. And you
you're
can't bounce
right.
back with a negative attitude.
So when I was younger, I used to wonder, my father, if you ever met him, he always has a smile on his face. He's such a pleasant person. He gets up at 5 a.m., sometimes earlier every day,
Mhm.
very routine, always singing. And I thought, oh my goodness, what's wrong with this man? And now, recently I said, Daddy, when I was younger, I used to always wonder, how do you keep so positive?
Mhm.
He says, I'm alive. I'm here, right?
Oh, so simple.
He's like, I said, but that doesn't make sense, Daddy. He says, well, why would I choose? He said, choose to be unhappy. So
Yeah.
when he used that word, I said, oh my goodness, I don't even think my dad realizes what he's saying. People
No.
choose sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
you do have a lot of people who, have some issues that can't, but for the most part, like myself, sometimes, if I want to have a frown on my face, I'm choosing,
Exactly.
and so my dad, and I realized, he's right. It's a choice.
A hundred
And
percent.
and
Yes.
I'm telling you, that is a man that I admire so much.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
whole, I just love being around him. When I'm with my dad, I'm always hugging on him because I'm a person, like I said, I pull
yes.
energy from people.
Yeah.
And the energy that I get from my dad is so soothing, it's so calming, it's so positive, it's so light. I love it,
Hmm. So why
you
wouldn't
know,
you want to be around him all the time? Right?
because he still thinks I'm 6 years old sometimes.
I know. I know. I get that too. I feel like a
But
teenager.
yeah, no, I definitely, yeah, no, he's my first true love. I love my father. Like, I'm a daddy's girl. I'm an
That's
only child.
beautiful. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
so definitely, and I know I digressed, because the thought just came into my head, and as you know me, that's how I speak. I
Yeah,
speak
no,
from my heart.
it's so
When so,
important. So important. Yes, yeah. So, all right, we're gonna wrap up, and I just wanted to thank you before I forget to
yes,
that, for joining me. This has been so awesome. I mean, we could talk for hours. And
absolutely,
maybe I'll have you on for another session. But
yes.
before we go, I just wanted you to reiterate maybe, any advice you want to give to people with special needs children. Like I said, we can have the links down below the video, but anything else you want to say to them?
Yes, actually, um, speaking from my heart as a parent that deals with, many challenges, but also more rewards. I think my son has taught me to be more understanding, more empathetic. He's taught me to be a better person. And I know that parents will agree with me as well. But what I wanted to say is that you're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of parents, we can sometimes feel alone because we don't have the right resources. We're not getting the right, we're not speaking to the right people. And we're not getting a lot of support. I know a lot of parents, we don't get a lot of support within our families or even with friends. But what I want to say is it can be overwhelming, and you can feel like, you know, you were given a lot. You have a lot on your plate. But I promise you, the more you know, the more help you'll get, the more help you'll get, the more things you could do with your child. And this is why someone like me feels that I need to tell people this. I need to provide them with the resources. I need to take away some of that stress, you know, and organizations like P4P and me being in the Parent Involvement Committee, you know, these are things that constantly get brought up because I am there to speak on their behalf as well as my behalf. So that being said, that's what I wanted to say to parents with exceptional needs children. But I wanted to say something to you, Rosanna. I absolutely admire you so much. I absolutely admire what you're doing. I love your teachings. I love, you spoke about my speeches. I love your speeches. I love when you were introducing us to, right? Is it right? Reiki?
Reiki.
Reiki. See, yes. I'm not even pronouncing it properly.
And the
Reiki.
Chakras, yes.
And the chakras. I remember the whole thing. And I remember that you spoke with such calmness, and it brought peace. So I can tell you that you're doing an amazing job. I think you're right where you ought to be.
I think so too. So you were talking about purpose, and I think I found my purpose. I really do. And I love it. Like you, I want to spread the word. You know, emotional wellness, well-being is so important to everybody from all ages, you know, full spectrum. And so thank you so much for those kind words, Talika.
You're very welcome. Anytime. Anytime.
And so parents out there, if you feel isolated, if you feel alone, you are not alone. Check out the resources below the video, and just reach out, because you'll find the support that you need.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rosanna.
Thank you once again. It was a pleasure, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you. Absolutely. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you. The best part of my morning so far.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You take care. Bye-bye.